Hello, everyone. This is episode 74.
Almost our Diamond Jubilee.
Which is almost our Diamond Jubilee of Viva Physical Media. I'm so excited to come back and record episode 75 wearing a bunch of new diamonds that you guys, the viewers, will email me? Diamonds?
Yeah.
What year is it? I guess that can happen, probably.
Diamonds are forever.
And
Diamonds
a girl's best friend. They're forever.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
Diamonds! Talk about diamonds again later when we do Raunch versus Raum.
Oh, that's exciting. Or...
We'll see.
Or is it? We have our spring fundraiser.
Yeah, we're trying to raise a lot of money. Right now, there's a $50,000 match happening, so every dollar you donate is doubled up to $50,000.
$1, $2, $10, $20, etc., etc.
$50,000, $50,000.
Oh my God.
Cough it up.
If someone did that, we wouldn't even need to do the fundraiser.
Yes, we would.
We got 100,000 like right off the bat.
We need more.
Okay. Well, it would be a lot easier with your help.
Yes, it would. So please do that right now,
do that.
as soon as you can.
Links
believe
will be
in
below.
Scarecrow, believe in physical media, believe in the diversity of film voices, believe in the power of movies.
And accessibility for everybody.
Yeah, every
Because of
dollar you donate keeps Scarecrow available to the public. All of these movies, all of this great art, this history of cinema right in front of you, at your fingertips. Or not, if you want to rent by mail, it's at your mail tips.
At your mail tips.
Yeah. So make sure you donate, please. We really appreciate it.
And we will be doing some sort of something in May.
Some sort of something. That's the sequel to Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yes, some sort of something in May. And so keep your ears out for information.
We don't even know what
on
it is yet. We haven't even had that meeting.
But we'll do it.
Oh, we'll do it.
We'll fucking do it.
Do you dare me?
Yeah. Yes.
I dasked you.
I asked you.
Yeah.
We have a new but maybe not so new section. We have our sight and sound section up. It's new for this year.
Yes, but it's the sight and sound greatest films of all time poll.
We have the sight and sound section up, and we're doing our spring telethon fundraiser. It's gonna be great. Anything else we have on the docket?
I don't know.
Whew. Well, then let's
do it.
begin our episode.
Do it to it. Stroke me, Stokely. Emily's having such a good time tonight. We don't want to interrupt it. So you may remember that the last time we did a mailbag, we got some mail from our good friend Brian Saur.
I remember it.
And he sent us some dog information about his dog, Marcy.
Yes.
We got a beautiful photo of Marcy.
Let's show the people.
Says, so you guys asked for dog pics, so here's my girl Marcy. She's a Shepherd Husky mix, parentheses, we think. Her full name is Marceline the Vampire Queen.
Cute.
My daughter's choice, inspired by her love of Adventure Time. Good choice. I also like the Charlie Brown and After Hours connections too, which is referring to when we did like Snoopy Come Home. Anyway, she's a sweetheart and enjoys hanging out while I watch movies. She is quite beautiful.
She's really cute.
We've also got a video that we're going to play for you shortly, like right now. That was a great video.
It's adorable.
Yeah,
I'm all about this content.
I loved it.
So thank you, Brian.
So thank you, Brian. We also have our next and final email from Daniel Stewart. It's a long one. Hello, Viva crew. Longtime listener, first-time emailer. Hello, Daniel Stewart. And I do mean listener, as is our custom when a certain friend of the show is watching your latest episode. I'm in the kitchen cooking up something delicious for dinner. I believe he's referring to our good friend Troy. But I do know what you look like. That's good. We have an open plan apartment, so I can just pop into the living room or look over the counter if something interesting is happening.
Which
Put
must
interesting
be
in all
all the
caps.
time.
It's all the time. It's happening right now.
It's probably hard for him to
I bet you're looking at this right now,
It probably takes him
Daniel.
like 3 hours to make a meal because he has to keep running in and checking out how good we look and all the great things we say. Like this.
You're almost certainly right.
Just like this.
And something interesting happened 2 weeks ago, but now, who knows how long ago now. Until now, my favorite Viva-inspired experience had been watching a Swedish love story based on a Viva recommendation and discovering that the teen dance party sequence was the inspiration for one of my favorite videos by the LA-based band Silver Sun Pickups, who faithfully recreated it for their video of Lazy Eye. Wow. This is just
There's
pops
a lot
and whistles
of
for me. I don't know what any of this stuff is.
I do, don't worry.
Okay. No longer, as I was sitting down to attend to business while my pasta meal simmered, I heard Matt bring out of the bucket a lesser-known film called Twilight Samurai. I might have yelped. Oh, geez. The opening sound of your episode, number 73, had caused me to comment to said friend of your show that it sounded familiar, and there it was. I teach a course at a local community college on Japanese history, and since 2005, in the last session of the 8th week of class, I have played the first 47 minutes of Twilight Samurai for my students. This is highly specific.
Since 2005.
Yeah. We end with that awesome duel between our hero, the world's best dad, and that stupid mean drunk because the film as a whole is an excellent depiction of Edo period Japan, down to the way they eat their meals. Notice that our hero takes a pickle and swirls it around in some hot water in his bowl before eating it, and then puts his bowls, plates, and utensils back into a box on the morning before that duel. That's real. And notice how eager his daughters are to attend the village school where they can learn Confucian teachings. That was real. Did I mention that he was poor and worked in an office? Because that was the reality for most samurai in Japan in the 18th and 19th centuries.
Wow.
You didn't mention that, but thank you. Did I mention that I had just shown the first 47 minutes of this movie to my class a few days before we watched your episode? You didn't mention that either, but now you have.
That is very crazy.
So, for the first time ever, we decided to watch one of your recommendations that night because, of course, I own a DVD of that movie, and it was awesome, as good as I remembered it from the first time I saw it many years ago before I began showing the first 47 minutes of it to my class. Sonata Hiroyuki for the win, and Viva Physical Media, be like Troy.
Woo!
That was a great letter.
That was a really good letter and also a really funny coincidence about
Yes, that
us
was a really funny coincidence.
bringing it up and teaching it every year. Wow. Guess I'll have to watch that.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, so I hear. And
Anyway.
that was what we got for a mailbag today, but you can always email us, viva@scarecrow.com, or you can mail us a physical letter, a package, a singing telegram,
Some money.
Money.
Some swag, if you get a cool t-shirt.
Swag, flowers, beers, diamonds.
Diamonds, we do need diamonds.
Other things to 5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast, Seattle, Washington, 98105. Or come in the store, say, hey, maybe we'll be around. Maybe not,
just drop us off some diamonds.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your recs you've got from the show, what you like about the show, if you have any suggestions.
Pictures of your pets.
Dogs or cats or other pets, pictures of your physical media collection, all that fun stuff. So we'll talk to you soon because that is another Mailbag. Ding, ding, ding. That means we're all gathered around the ring for Raunch versus
Rom.
And
Chew on the turnbuckle.
I didn't even count the amount of votes last time because the Raunch won by a fucking landslide. I think we had H.O.T.S and
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter maybe got 1 or 2, and H.O.T.S got like 12 or something.
I think that's appropriate, frankly.
H.O.T.S was wild. Also, I really appreciate the voter turnout, you guys, so keep that up. If you watched H.O.T.S, or I guess the Bounty Killer because of us, please let us know. Bounty Killer?
Bounty Hunter, but Bounty Killer would have been better. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
More death.
We have 2 new contestants, 2 new fighters, 2 new muscly, oiled up fighters for the ring.
Choose your fighter.
And mine is Hollywood High.
The bell rings, my heart sings.
Ooh.
From 1976.
And I have the possible ringer, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Which I had never previously seen.
Man, I saw that. Oh, there's a little pup down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, as you guys know, we have 2 minutes on the clock to give you a rundown of what these guys are and how hard they fight. And then we each get closing arguments, closing last statements, and then you guys are the voters, and you get to judge who wins the Raunch versus Rom. So, I guess...
Give me dos minutos.
Dos minutos on the clock.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hollywood High. 1976, directed by Patrick Wright, who, this is his only film, and this is all he really needs, because this is about four friends who live in California, and they go to Hollywood High School, but this movie does not take place at their high school at all. It takes place on the beach where they love to get naked and try to have sex with guys. This is a very female horny movie, and I appreciate that. There's an amazing scene where they're all getting stoned on the beach, and then one girl chugs 6 cans of Coors and just like pours them all over her body, which is cool.
My kind of woman.
The dudes they have boyfriends, but they hate their boyfriends. They're all different stereotypes. We have the jock. We have the guy who acts like the Fonz. We have like a fat nerd, and then we have like a stoner or something. And they're disposable. These girls just are looking for a good time, but their one problem is they don't have a place where they can all have sex. So they end up always having sex either in this cramped car or under a tent. So they go to this woman's house who is an old Hollywood starlet, and her name is June East, and she's a thinly veiled Mae West. And they decide to use her mansion to have sex because there's 10 different rooms. So they basically pimp out their boyfriends to this old lady in order to be able to use the rooms to have sex with their boyfriends.
This sounds like Vanderpump Rules.
They decide to go into, when they first come across this mansion, it turns into some like Scooby-Doo haunted mansion shit. And it's really spooky for a while until they like meet the lady. And yeah, there's a scene of them making out on the beach in a pile of apples. There's a lifted auto shop platform during sex. Gosh, I don't even know. It's a wacky, wild movie where these young women try to find places to have sex with their dumb boyfriends, and it takes some twists and turns, but overall, I was there for the ride. I got lost in my own description.
I thought that was beautiful. It made me want to watch Hollywood High. It made me want to have sex on a pile of apples.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we've got How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. In this movie, Kate Hudson, like all women in a romantic comedy, plays a woman who works at a magazine. She writes for Composure magazine, which is kind of a thinly veiled cosmopolitan. And she writes like crappy advice columns, you know, and she really doesn't want to do that anymore. She wants to write like heavy-hitting political stuff. Of course. Meanwhile, Matthew McConaughey works in an ad agency, and he's stymied because he really wants to get this ad campaign from the huge client that is a diamond merchant, and he has to convince his boss, Robert Klein, to give him the contract. But Robert Klein doesn't want to do that because he has 2 ladies, Michael Michelle and Shalom Harlow, who are, you know, more qualified, he thinks, because they're women, to sell diamonds. Anyway, Matthew McConaughey bets his boss that he can get a woman to fall in love with him in 10 days, which is when the contract bid comes up. And Kate Hudson bets her boss, B.B. Newirth, that she can get a guy to dump her in 10 days for the purposes of an article. And if she wins the bet, then she gets to write the article she wants to do. They happen to make this bet with their bosses mutually at the same party and meet each other that night.
That's insane.
So the whole deal is that they both have to pretend to have a relationship and break up or not break up, but they don't know mutually that they're both betting against each other during the course of the film. Chaos ensues. Mostly what happens, though, is that their shenanigans reinforce gender roles that are pretty boring, and like Kate Hudson has to do stuff like, oh, I have to be too clingy, and Matthew McConaughey has to go like, well, she gets to do whatever she wants, and I have to just deal with it. It's pretty boring for the most part, and at the end, they both mutually realize that they fall in love together. And I can't see how much time I have left on the clock. Oh, 23 seconds, that's good. This pretty much does exactly what you think it's gonna do. There's nothing too special in it. The performances are fun too, though. That helps. McConaughey was kind of on the downslope of his career at this point, and this really gave him a big resurgence. He started showing up in a lot of rom-coms. It was a big deal at the time. Anyway, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This will teach you exactly what not to do.
Compelling stuff there, Matt.
Yeah, it's good.
We each have our closing statements, which is our one final random thing that we want to say about these movies that can really sway your decision. So
give me that.
I'll take the stage here. Hollywood High. I just have to say, there's also a very extravagant food fight scene at a diner that serves. It's a long scene. They must have made a real mess of that diner.
I haven't been to a spaghetti diner in a long time.
Yeah, and you won't want to after you see this mess they made there. Back to you, Matt. I don't know what this is, but
Okay, so my thing about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was this. They make these mutual bets against each other without knowing. It would have been a more interesting movie if they had mutually disclosed to each other what was going on.
And then both won the bet?
And then both, like, basically carried on the straight. Instead of, like, having this stupid, contrived conflict, the movie would be more interesting if Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey were basically just playing everybody else against them. And then they both would get what they want at the end.
You Jimbo'd everyone else.
Yes, they Jimbo'd everyone else. And then we would also get to have them, like, negotiate an actual relationship because they would fall in love in the process of sort of gaslighting everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Well, yeah, vote for your champion below.
How to lose a Raunch versus Rum in 2 minutes.
Hollywood High or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? You be the judge, jury, and executioner.
I think I'm the wrong audience for these because I keep trying to watch, like, the old beloved ones that were super popular. And I'm like, these are terrible.
That's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Today, class, we're going to do the Greeks.
Yeah, you should have come in backwards.
Huh? Yeah. Hey, don't feel bad. Fine, a nickel for every time I got in a fist fight during a chick
All
flick.
right, the first movie I have up for you guys to talk about and enjoy amongst yourselves after you watch it, after watching me talk about it, is the Devonsville Terror. This is so much
never
fun.
been to Devonsville.
I don't even know where Devonsville is, but it's like in the east.
Probably Pennsylvania.
Probably. Because
Everywhere
so
bad is
Devonsville Terror,
Pennsylvania.
1983, Emalie Lamel or Lommel.
Yeah.
Lamel?
Lommel.
This movie is about a town's dark history. And in this town, it's set in this town. We're here, it's in the olden days, and they are executing witches. They're doing witch hunts. And who knows if these women are actually witches or not. Most of the time, they were just, outspoken.
Regular women.
Regular degulars. But right off the bat, we get some pretty brutal death scenes, including a woman who is tied to one of those wheels.
As a representative of this Commonwealth, I therefore ask you, Mary Pratt, how were these Sabbath banquets arranged? And what other persons participated?
And then they simply roll her down this hill, and it's like it was the most upsetting
What kind of wheel is that?
It's a torture wheel, but it's called something.
It's not a Catherine wheel.
It's called a breaking wheel. It was really upsetting to see and really fucked up.
I'm no witch! You are a witch!
Another part of it is they track down this other witch, and they release these wild hogs on her, and they eat her to death. And the third witch.
I like the phrase they eat her to death.
It sounds funny when I say it. It's not funny when it happens. The third witch, way more traditional, but nonetheless terrifying, was burnt at the stake. And she basically cursed this town. And I don't even think she needed to, with all of that. It's modern day, 1983, modern day. And we have 3 new women who moved to this town. One of them's a radio DJ who is giving advice to the local women of the town.
I'm calling from Devonsville.
What's on your mind, Judy?
I'm alone all day and my boyfriend won't let me get a job.
Well, that's a pretty common problem. A lot of men still have trouble with the idea that women want to make their own money and their own choices.
Basically telling them, don't put up with that with your husband, blah, 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 all these like radical feminist ideas. Don't put up with your husband, that radical feminist idea.
That is pretty radical, yeah.
And then there's a student that comes here. She's an environmental scientist, and she's taking like samples and like just doing things that aren't what's traditionally been done around town.
Good evening, madam.
And then our main lady, who is a teacher, and she goes and she's teaching the children of this small town. It's a very small town, so their schoolhouse just has like a range of ages. And they're talking about religion, and one of the students asks, why is God a man? And she was like, actually in like Babylonian times, God was considered a woman, and then it was only later that he became
They figured out that it definitely can't be a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
How come God created Adam before Eve? How come every single president of the United States has been a man?
I don't know.
Because God is, and always will be a man.
So all these women with all these crazy ideas are stirring up the town, and these men are not having it. The leaders of the town are thinking that things are changing too fast. They're putting poison thoughts into these young kids' brains. They're testing the waters in our swamps and giving advice to our wives.
Woke mind virus.
Woke mind virus.
Yeah.
And so first they try to fuck them.
First moment we met, I
each other.
Mr. Gibbs, please.
And when that doesn't work,
Look at my poor brother Matthew with that whore. She's not a whore, Ralph. She's a witch. She tried to seduce me too, but I didn't fall for it.
they decide to kill them, basically.
Let me tell you, that never works.
And that never works. And so they start being hunted down by these terrible white dudes of the community who are descendants of, you guessed it, the witch hunters of the past. And they believe that these women are the descendants of the witches of the past. And you know who especially believes that?
Tell me.
Donald Pleasance.
Ooh.
Because he has a disease that he believes is caused by this curse. And this disease is that he has to like pick worms out of his skin all the time. And he knows that the only way to like cure this is to like become at peace with these women and their ideas or whatever. Because he was once, you know, in his lineage,
Can you just
a bad
take some
guy.
steroids and like go to a therapist? Because that clears up my eczema pretty good.
He's doing lots of things. He has a whole like little classroom with like vials of worms and shit. Illness of worms is what I wrote. But these men start tracking down these women and attacking them, and their deaths are mimicking the deaths of the women in the past. There is a great scene in this, super great scene, if you love practical effects and are a horror person, of a guy who gets magic turned on him and his face begins to melt. And it's literally like a sped up like candle wax, like melting. It's so fucking good. This was a really fun one. It was very 80s, but it also had like that kind of like messed up, like murdery stuff of like kind of like witch finder movies of like the 70s still. And some really great gore, and it went by in a flash, and you know, it's a relevant thing. Like, a lot of people in communities are like scared of women, basically. And yeah, it's the same bullshit forever. So watch the Devonsville Terror and find out for yourself if you believe in witches.
What demon did you use to satisfy your wanton lust that night? What was his name?
So I got a new one that I just sort of pulled out of the new release section randomly because I thought that the premise sounded cool, and it was awesome.
I love that for you.
It is called Closed Circuit. It's from 1978. It was made for Italian television.
That's rad.
And it is really, really weird and cool. Okay, so this movie takes place in a city in Italy. I don't know if it's Rome. I'm not sure. It's kind of nebulous.
It's Rome-esque.
It might be Rome. It's Romy. These people are all going into the movie theater in the town to see a new movie. By the way, the movie poster that is supposedly of the movie that they're all going to see is from my second favorite spaghetti western of all time, Day of Anger.
Oh,
but that's not the movie they watch. The movie that they use clips of in this film is from another movie starring the same actor, Giuliano Gemma, called For a Roof, A Sky Full of Stars. Or also called A Sky Full of Stars.
Why do you think they didn't use the poster for that movie?
Because the poster for Day of Anger has a very specific image on it that ties into what happens in the film.
Okay.
I really like that actor, Giuliano Gemma, so it was cool to see him in this. So they all go to see this new Western on a Friday afternoon or whatever. And late in the film, well, actually, let's go back. So we meet all these disparate characters. You know, like there's the shady couple who are like acting a little suspicious. There's this nerdy dude who's taking notes the entire time. There's the usher who's maybe carrying on with the girl who takes the tickets, things like that.
Love it.
Ho spento.
Modello S 101. Modello S
Tessera.
101.
È il primo portoghese, oggi va bene.
Then late in the movie, towards the end of the film, there's a scene where the hero and his nemesis are having like a duel at, you know, pistols. The lead actor in the movie, Giuliano Gemma, turns to the camera in the film and fires to kill his enemy. And when he does that, a guy in the audience gets shot and dies.
Oh, shit.
Right? And that's crazy. And everybody goes nuts, and there's chaos, and they're running around trying to figure out what's going on. The cops show up, and they lock down the theater. So everybody's stuck in there, and it's a pretty big crowd. And they try to figure out who killed this guy. And then they're keeping these people sequestered for, I'm talking, hours turning into days.
In
trying
the
to
movie
figure
theater?
Out, yes.
Il giornale ha detto che potrebbero restare là dentro anche 10 giorni.
Se l'ha detto la televisione.
And then they decide, maybe, you know, there was a lot of chaos going on when the murder happened. What we'll do is we'll reenact the crime and see if we can, you know, parse the trajectory of the bullet a little bit better, figure out stuff that's going on. So they reenact the crime, they make everybody kind of sit or stand where they were, and they take the usher and they put him in the seat where the dead guy was killed, and they run the movie again, and the exact same thing happens, and that guy dies.
Idioti!
I'm not going to ruin this movie for you, but Emily, you specifically will understand this because we do The Suspense is Killing Us a lot. I call movies really easily all the time, and not because I'm trying to solve the mystery or anything. It's just sort of like I've seen a lot of movies and the solutions come to me pretty quick.
And I'm opposite.
Right. Now, about halfway through this movie, I was like, I know what happened. I got this. No way. I was totally fucking wrong.
Oh, that's exciting.
This movie goes in a much sillier, much more fun, much more interesting direction.
Like
I was
Last Action Hero
totally
shit.
not expecting it. You have to check this out. I can't really say more about it without ruining it. It's got some De Palma inflections, but it's not really the same. It's a little long, I would say. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. It could be shorter, but like the way that it unfolds and then the way that it just sort of, the way that it comes to its conclusion is so weird and funny. I was completely smitten with this. Totally unexpected movie, and it came out of nowhere. Like, I've never heard of it. I just saw this cover and was like, what's this? And then it said murder mystery in a closed movie theater, and I'm like, I gotta see what this is.
Yes.
And it far exceeded any expectations I could have had. This was a perfect cold call. Like, just had no idea what this was, and it knocked me out.
That's amazing.
It was great. So this is one of those things that if you haven't heard of it, you gotta check it out. If you have heard of it, it's great. One of the best. This is going to go on my discoveries list.
This is
for the end of the year,
another reason browsing the shelves at a video store is like irreplaceable.
This is absolutely a top 3 2024 discovery.
You heard it here first, you guys.
Closed circuit.
Prometheus, la sveglia che non perdona. Non smette di suonare se non vi alzate dal letto.
The next movie that I'm going to talk about is 1958, The Goddess. Starring Kim Stanley. This movie was directed by John Cromwell. I didn't write down any notes on what this guy did, so it must have not impressed me.
Sorry, John. If that is your real name.
Sorry, John. I rented this because I recently read an interview with one of my favorite actresses, Jessica Lange, who mentioned Kim Stanley's she loves Kim Stanley. It's like one of her biggest influences. Kim Stanley played her mom in Frances. And she mentions particularly this performance. She says, like, when you see Kim Stanley in The Goddess, this is was kind of a career-inspiring performance for Jessica Lange. And you can totally see it in this. This is a melodrama.
Well, I finally got myself transferred to a combat outfit. I leave a week from Tuesday. I hope I get killed.
I hope you do, too.
This is just dripping with melodrama. I didn't know this when I watched it, but afterwards read that it was loosely based off of Marilyn Monroe's life. Don't know enough to confirm or deny, but basically this is following a girl named Emalie Ann who her mother was like a party girl and then was like,
I'm only 26 years old. I still got my figure. I want to have a little fun. I can't support her. I don't have any money.
Well, maybe I could help you find a job.
Don't want no job. I don't want no dirty job. Frenchie's your own baby. Well, I don't want her.
Like, I don't want to have a kid, blah, 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 in like the 30s. And so she grew up like just really needing to be wanted and accepted and all this stuff. And this movie like spans decades. So it spans from her being a teenager to her being in her 30s. And her teenage years were all about her just like wanting guys to like her and then guys thinking she was easy for going with a bunch of guys, that whole thing.
I'd like to go out with you, Louis, because you're from one of the better families. But I don't like you listening to anything that James Pinckney Miller may say.
Until she meets the son of a movie star who's like this big drunk guy.
You know who this is? This is John Tower, the son of the movie star. Oh, what a lunatic this guy is.
Who took her to Hollywood, and then all these kind of pitfalls.
Why don't you come to my house tonight and we'll discuss the whole matter? I eat at 8 o'clock. I'm sure you'll enjoy the food.
Shall I dress, or is it informal?
What's it matter?
And highs and lows and stuff started happening to her. She started getting addicted to like prescription pills and alcohol, and then it also focuses on her like fraught relationship with her mother, who comes in and out of her life.
I'm only 19 years old. I got a good figure. I still turn lots of heads when I walk down the street. I want to have some fun.
What about the baby?
I don't want it. I don't want it. I didn't want it when she was born, and I don't want it now.
It's a story that we've all, you know, seen movies of or read of before, like this Hollywood starlet who has it all but actually is very miserable on the inside. But Kim Stanley's performance is so legendary.
I can't stand to be alone. I mean, sometimes I bring men home that I don't rightly know for more than half an hour because I can't stand to be alone.
Her very like feral, just like raw emotion in her breakdown scenes is so compelling, and you can definitely see where Jessica Lange got some influence just in how she carries herself with this, at least in her characters, some like fake confidence, and she's really just like kind of falling apart on the inside. This is a really great movie if you're into kind of Circean melodramas, or if you love the whole like story of the, you know, sad, depressed starlet, which is not a fun one, but it's one we're drawn to time and time again for a reason. This one was really great. I never would have even come across my radar if I hadn't read that interview with Jessica Lange, but The Goddess, 1958, check it out.
I never want to see you again, not even in your grave. And I hope you do die. I hope you do. I hope your heart just explodes.
My next one is one that I watched a brand new 4K of that Scarecrow doesn't quite have yet. Probably by the time this runs, that we'll have the 4K.
Look at you, ahead of the curve.
But this was a movie that, so maybe you don't know this about me, I love old musicals.
I think I'm like newly learning this about you.
Love old musicals, especially like sort of the heyday of like the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
The big ones, the big productions, you know, Sound of Music, things like that. And this is one of the most notoriously disliked musicals of its day, and it is Joshua Logan's Paint Your Wagon.
Dream boy, got a song. And you love it.
This movie is fucking awesome.
I've never seen it.
I saw this a ton when I was a kid and haven't seen it in a long time. It's Lerner and Lowe, and it's a Western musical, and it stars Gene Seberg, but more notably Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood, and yes, they all do their own singing.
Clint?
Yeah, Clint sings.
Her heart was made of holidays. Her smile was made of dawn.
This movie is about, let's see, Lee Marvin plays a guy who's like a gold prospector, and one day there's an accident.
Farmers.
And these two brothers they're in this terrible accident, and one of the brothers dies and one lives, and that's Clint Eastwood. And they're burying Clint Eastwood's brother, and they start to realize that there's gold dust in the grave. So they've hit a claim. And
so they toss the dead body.
Pull them up.
And they fucking go at it.
And so Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood team up together and become partners in this gold claim. And as the gold claim becomes more successful, this town slowly springs up throughout this area. It becomes a little bit of a boomtown. And various and sundry characters come in and out. Harv Presnell he's the father-in-law from Fargo.
No Gene, no money.
Okay.
He shows up and he sings They Call the Wind Mariah, that song.
Away out here, they got a name for rain and wind and fire. The rain is Tess, the fire's Joe, and they call the wind Mariah.
I don't know if you ever heard that song before.
I don't know.
That's his big number in this one. Then one day, a Mormon gentleman shows up and he has two wives.
No, my wife.
Your wife? I thought that one was your wife.
They both are. Holy Moses, they're Mormons!
And the townsmen, it's all men, they're a little upset about this. They're like,
I don't bloody give a damn how a man prays. There's enough room in hell for all of us. But it just ain't equitable, man. For you to be having two of something all of us here got none of.
you're going to have to sell one of them to us.
Oh, great.
Yeah. One of his wives has a child, and the other one, Gene Seberg, he doesn't really...
And simplify your life, Jacob. Sell me.
But Elizabeth, you don't know what you'll get.
I know what I've had.
She's a troublemaker. She's got a little bit too many ideas, if you know what I'm talking about.
She's a witch.
So he auctions her off, and Lee Marvin, who, by the way, is a total drunk.
And they're bidding on her right now.
What's a bid?
Yeah, well...
Whatever the bid is, I double it! Oh!
In a drunken stupor, bids the highest bid for Gene Seberg and now must marry her. Anyway, what transpires is a bit of a love triangle between Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood and Gene Seberg. Just at the point where you think it's all going to boil over into a head, they decide that the best thing for them to do is become a throuple.
I think it's a humane, practical, beautiful solution.
It does make a lot of sense.
It don't.
It don't in Michigan. It does in California.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 100%. This movie is so fucking crazy. And the songs are great, and it looks beautiful, and it's like, it's all shot outdoors. Like, all the sets are big exteriors,
Yeah.
so it's like there's not a lot of soundstage work in it. It just gets more and more insane from there. Eventually, they start tunneling under the town to dig for more gold.
A tunnel?
It gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And one of the things that's so cool about this movie is, like, the way that I describe the plot makes it sound like sort of deeply misogynistic. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's progressive.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about it is that, you know, this takes place in the sort of the muck and the dirt and the political and social and the economic realities that existed for these characters at the time. And it's not like a lot of, like, what you would expect from a jaunty, fun musical would be to kind of like paper over that stuff to just
Right.
have a good time. But all the emotional and psychological realities that these people deal with on a daily basis really do, like, form the thrust of the story and the direction of the songs and the way that the whole thing plays out. It's unique, I think, for its time. You know, the guy who directed this, Joshua Logan, he also did South Pacific, and he did my mother's favorite movie, Camelot, with Richard Harris.
I love that your mom's
Yeah,
favorite
that's
movie.
that. Well,
amazing.
Camelot's maybe the movie that got me to like musicals because my mom watched it over and over when I was a little kid, so I got really used to it.
Oh.
This one, however, was kind of a success on Broadway, but flopped as a movie, and Joshua Logan never directed another film again.
Dude, I wonder if he wanted to.
I don't know. And this one, I mean, it's very strange, so you can kind of understand why it became a joke. The singing it's hit and miss. You know, Clint Eastwood not known for his vocal capabilities all the time.
I always think it's great when they're singing, like actors
I agree.
who don't usually sing are singing in a musical.
There's, by the way, just tangent, there's another great musical that was a huge flop when it came out that people still to this day don't really love, and it's Peter Bogdanovich's At Long Last Love, which is also fucking great.
Okay.
Burt Reynolds is the singer in that one.
Is it an earthquake or simply a shock?
Your boy. Anyway, so this is, you know, it's idiosyncratic at best. It's very unusual in terms of where it lies in its genre and in history. It has a different kind of narrative and emotional trajectory from a lot of the other films of its time. I can see why it was a little bit rejected when it came out. I think it plays very differently now, especially watching it many times as a kid and not really understanding the nuances of where the characters were going. Watching it as an adult was very different. And it just looks gorgeous. It's like Sound of Music level great looking. And so I highly recommend it. If you've heard of it and you just thought it was a joke, you should still check it out. If you've seen it and thought it was dumb when you saw it the last time, you should definitely revisit it. The new 4K looks gorgeous, so please give Paint Your Wagon a first or second chance.
I'm looking for my stirring stick.
All right, we have a dog movie up, and it is a recommendation
From
Brian
our
Saur.
previous tenant, Brian Saur, who we showed you his dog video and picture earlier, and he wrote us a letter for the last episode. And on that, in that letter last episode,
Or
he
some
recommended
dog
this movie.
recommendations, including Trapped, aka Doberman Patrol. So 1973, directed by Frank De Felitta,
who also directed the Sharon Stone movie Scissors.
which is great, as well as Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, which is all right.
Yep.
And this is a made-for-TV movie. Takes place in an early 70s department store. Mwah!
Yeah.
Love it.
So Josh Brolin is kind of a ne'er-do-well. He's trying to get his life back together, but he drinks too much. He's a little bit down and out, and he's
scattered.
He's in the middle of a divorce and a yucky custody battle with his ex-wife, Susan Clark.
It's incredible
What is?
that you and I could have ever had a life together, a child, standing here listening to you now. I can't believe any of that ever happened.
It happened.
And she wants to take her and her adorable daughter and her new husband to Mexico City.
Earl Holliman.
Earl Holliman! And she's not really telling him that kind of means that he's going to get fucked over custody-wise.
She's not coming back.
You gotta admit it's gonna be a little difficult taking Carrie to the zoo every Sunday.
They're saying goodbye at the department store, and the
Because he wants to buy his daughter a present at the store.
There's this doll she really wants.
Yeah.
Where's my Billy Joe doll? Can you imagine there wasn't one left in that stockroom? But don't you worry, honey. I put in a call to our downtown warehouse, and they're sending one up to you right away on their fastest motorcycle.
She's like, I'll go get the doll as soon as it gets off the truck. I'll meet you back here. It'll take like 15 minutes, and then we have to close. And the wife's like,
I won't get a cab if I wait, and I have to meet David at the terminal at 6:30.
but if you want to meet us at the restaurant before the airport, go for it.
Yeah.
So the husband's like, all right, I'll wait, and I'll definitely be there. And the wife's like, sure you will.
Yeah.
Don't forget to bring my present, Daddy.
I won't, baby. Order me a shrimp cocktail.
Promise to hurry?
Promise.
Brolin just wants,
bad
she
track
wants to get
record.
rid of James Brolin. Susan Clark wants him out of her life.
Yeah.
She's sick of his bullshit, and she thinks this is more of the same.
Yeah.
I know you inside out, drunk and sober, and I know what you can never be as a real father or a real husband.
And so he waits. He waits around for a while. People are leaving the store. And then he has to use the restroom.
Yeah. And he goes into the restroom, whereupon he is waylaid by some ne'er-do-wells who mug him and knock him
They
out.
knock him out and drag him into his stall.
Yeah. And he wakes up a little while later, the store's closed, and worse, it's being patrolled by vicious killer attack dogs, which seems weird to me.
Like, we see a short scene of these guys wearing weird little helmets and these dogs, these crazy dogs, a couple Dobermans and a white shepherd. And they're just like mean attack dogs.
Yeah.
And they block off the escalators and just let them loose and leave.
It seems weird to me. It's kind of like that movie Chopping Mall. Where,
That's
like,
what I wrote down. It's Chopping Mall for 70s dogs.
They have killer robots patrolling a fucking JCPenney.
What is the end game if there was to be a thief?
Like, can you imagine the manager coming in to open the electronics department at Penny's in the morning, and there's
Blood
a guy
everywhere?
There's a guy, like his head's been exploded. There's blood
Yeah.
everywhere. His guts are hanging out.
Yeah. So what's the end game there? Because the guys who bring the dogs in do have jackets that say like Attack Dog Company or whatever.
And they just leave the attack dogs
and they
alone.
just leave them there.
Do you think those dogs like shit on the floor or anything?
They have to.
What do they? There's no water.
There's
Anyways,
probably a fountain usually in malls.
It's not nice for the dogs.
And these poor dogs have been trained to be attack dogs, which in and itself is bad.
Yeah.
Brolin wakes up. He's like, fuck, I'm stuck in the wall. And
And then he gets attacked by an attack dog.
And he still has the doll, though. He, like, sticks it in his pocket. And then he gets attacked. And he's busy trying to run away and hide from these dogs.
But most of the movie is not that premise. Most of the movie is Susan Clark and Earl Holliman wondering where the hell he's got to.
Yeah, so her new husband, he's like...
I can't believe he'd deliberately go out of his way to disappoint Carrie.
He kind of keeps trying to defend him, and she's like, fuck you,
no, he's the worst. He probably got drunk at one of his favorite dive bars.
I think something must have happened to him.
And he's like, if I'm going to be the new father to your daughter, I want to make sure she doesn't see me as the bad guy, and I want to make sure she has an okay relationship with both me and her father. I was like, fuck, okay.
And Susan Clark, she ping-pongs a lot in this, from I hate him, I don't care.
Look at Carrie. Waiting, hoping. That was me, David, for 8 years.
I'm going to spend every possible minute trying to find him.
Do you know what time it is, Elaine?
Yes.
I mean, we might have to wake up every half a mile in the book. She might not even have a phone.
Please. Please, David.
Yeah.
There's a really funny scene where they're trying to call the girl who was the cashier at the department store.
Because she remembers her flirting with him.
And they know her name, so they go into the phone book, and he calls a bunch of them. And at one point, he gets on the phone with somebody, and the person on the phone is giving him a hard time. And he's like, "Well, sorry, same to you, buddy," and hangs up.
He's doing his best.
And then he's like, "I'm out of coins, honey." And Susan Clark is like, "I've got more coins."
She was ready.
I also like the part where they go to one of his hangout bars.
Yeah, because they're visiting every dive bar that he frequents, which I loved. I was
they're
like,
having
let's go.
a drink at all of them. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, you have to wonder like how tips they're getting.
Oh, it's 73. They're driving drunk all the time. You know, it's a nothing. It's a nothing. Oh, this is your favorite part.
The bartender at this bar that they're at, they describe him. And the bartender's like, I don't really remember. I don't know. If you got a picture of him.
Well, first they're like, you must remember him.
Well, this is a pretty big guy. He's well built. He used to play football for Dartmouth about 9 or 10 years ago.
1964, first string tackle.
Oh, no kidding.
Right.
And then she's like, wait, I do have a picture of him.
And it's their wedding photo. And she shows the bartender the wedding photo, and this very butch kind of masculine guy is like,
So that's Chuck. Oh, yeah. He's got some built. Look at them shoulders. Whew.
I'd remember those shoulders if he was in here.
I remember those.
It's very weird. It seems like the script is trying to code him as a little bit gay.
So they go to all these different bars. They're trying to track down the department store lady, and they do eventually get a hold of her.
Yes, they do. But
And
meanwhile, Brolin is
we're getting flashes back to the department store, and
he's got like a fishing rod that he has thrown over a balcony in order to catch a bow and arrow set in order to shoot the dogs.
I feel like he's taken 10 steps too many.
Yeah.
Okay, there's so much barking in this movie, and I know that sounds silly. Emalie, it's a dog movie. Of course there's going to be barking. The barking is non-stop. And I've watched a lot of dog movies, so I know what's appropriate.
Even in the scenes where the wife and the boyfriend are going through, they're just barking at each other.
It's like so much barking. My dog was very annoyed. She was very like, for a while, she was just like, what? Like, what's going on? I was annoyed because I was like, okay, we get it. We get it. You're a dog. You're barking. It was a lot.
And
because
then-
this is a made-for-TV. The production on this wasn't $1 billion.
There's maybe 25 minutes of actual guy trapped in a department store
But
movie,
mostly
and
it's
it's
like-
really padded out with
Mostly
the
it's
other thing.
detective, ex-wife, and new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was kind of fine with that. I liked it for what it was.
There's like a whole digression where they go to the police station, and the police are like, oh, we found a dead guy, and then we have to go identify the body, and it's like, no, that's not him, but the wife is traumatized anyway because the body is so gross. And
no one's
we have to
eating
calm her
sandwiches
down.
or smoking in the morgue.
Yeah, no coroner eating a sandwich in this one. Anyway, there's a lot going on, even though there's nothing going on.
And finally, they get a hold of the lady who worked, and she was like, oh, yeah.
Wait a second. He left all his change.
How much change?
Well, he handed me a $50 bill, and he, $44.12.
Which is like $1 million in 1973.
And for a drunk in 1973?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You could dine out for a month on that.
So they're like, he's in the department store. And here's where I don't really remember how
The cops show up and they
resolved.
rescue him, but nothing happens.
Okay.
It's literally like
Yeah.
they get there and he's still alive, and they get rid of the dogs. They don't shoot the dogs
Yeah,
or
and he
anything
can't,
like that.
and like during it, James Brolin can't call out or anything because there's no one operating the switchboard.
Yeah.
Because it's that time.
Yeah. This is one of those things that if anyone had cell phones, there'd be no movie.
Or if they used a normal security system and not attack dogs.
Yeah. Well, that's no fun. However, I still enjoyed it.
I had a good time with it.
Yeah, it's like 75 minutes or something.
It was
That's
fun.
pretty short.
It's a fun, weird TV movie artifact from the early 70s that...
Pretty unstreamable, too, I believe.
I don't think you can find this.
Yeah.
I don't know where you can find this.
We were lucky
We
to have
happen to have it by some
Of dubious
weird
provenance.
way, DVDR.
Yeah.
If you can track it down, I think it's a fun one.
You can rent it by mail.
You can rent this by mail.
Yeah.
Why don't you go to our website and do that right now?
Yeah, hurry up.
Hurry. First one wins.
How many paws are you going to give this?
I'm going to give it 2.5 paws.
I'm going to give it 3 paws.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not good.
No.
But it was, as advertised by Bri, like, weird but fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not upset that I watched it.
I'm glad I saw this.
And it's fun to talk. It's one of those movies that's a little more fun to talk about.
Yeah. And as recommendations go, it's absurd that we hadn't done this one already. Like,
Right,
It's perfect
exactly.
for Viva.
Yeah.
So great job, Bri. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah.
And 3 paws for Trapped.
And we have something coming up that kept getting pushed
Yeah.
and pushed and pushed, and we're finally going to do it.
I've never seen this, but it looked good. Greyfriars Bobby movie.
Greyfriars
Greyfriars Bobby, The Adventures of Greyfriars Bobby.
Look at him. Look at this little guy.
This kind of looks like a Disney live-action Umberto D. You know, where he's got the, it's an old man and his dog. So hopefully it's not too sad.
I was just going to say,
well, the dog in Umberto D doesn't die. Everything's fine at the end.
This guy's sideburns tell me a different story. They say I'm not going to cry. And the tagline on this is, on common ground with an uncommon friendship.
Toy.
Whew. It's overflowing with warmth and charm.
That's too much. I don't want to overflow my warmth.
I'm ready for Greyfriars Bobby.
91 minutes.
Oof. Yeah. So
Woof, woof.
Till next time, watch Greyfriars Bobby, and we'll talk about it.
Join us to talk about it.
Well, I forgot to tell you guys that in Hollywood High, Miss June East also owns a live lion, and it's a real lion that's in there. So it's just hanging out in the haunted mansion that they want to have sex in.
I don't have any things that I forgot to tell you about How to Lose
There's
a Guy
no
in 10
live
Days.
lions in How to Lose a Guy.
There's that Matt McSee charisma.
Oh, you know what you need to watch next? Win a Date with Tad Hamilton.
Okay. I've seen that. I mean, it doesn't have to be one I haven't seen before.
Yeah, I guess. I don't remember it.
I want a winner. Not a winner for the Raunch versus Rom contest.
Oh, you need to watch The Notebook.
I just want to watch one that I like.
You haven't seen The Notebook, have you?
I haven't seen The Notebook.
And A Walk to Remember. For this and much more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Donate to Scarecrow's fundraiser. Please donate. We're trying to raise an awful lot of money.
It's matched. So honestly, you're richer than you thought, and you're doing more good with the money that you have.
Yeah. If you didn't think you were rich, you are rich. You're richer than you thought you were. Whoa. Yeah.
Follow us on all the social medias at Physical Viva on Twitter/X and like on Letterboxd and stuff. All that stuff is linked below. Check out our store. Check out Scarecrow if you're in the area, and if not, like we
Send us some
mentioned,
diamonds.
rent by mail. Send us stuff, diamonds, pictures.
We love you.
And we truly love you. We really do.
XO.
Oh, vote for Raunch versus Rom. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
Viva Physical Media. Bye.
Viva Physical Media. Goodbye. Oh man, I also forgot to say when I was talking about The Goddess that it was written by Patty Chayefsky, who did Marty.
Who also
Network,
wrote Paint Your Wagon.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We